Hello, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. Remember, if you are on Facebook, for all of my new subscribers, please be sure to follow me on Facebook as Otis is on there with me giving insight into what it's like for me to live with Otis. I create little small videos about my experiences living with Otis, so be sure to check that out. Now, what are we talking about today? Well, it looks like things are just not going well for Harry and Meghan. It has been reported that they have had one of the biggest fights ever, and we're going to be talking about that and giving insight and showing you how it makes sense, because not everyone knows everything that happens inside the homes of people. But what we can do is we can look at what makes sense. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, how it makes sense that this story sounds true. All right, let's get into it. Now, what's important to know about this story, it came out in March of this year. However, there were more allegations reported just recently by Angela Levin when she spoke to Dan Wooten. And I'm going to bring these two stories together to show you how, it makes sense. So British royal family news reveals that Prince Harry is said to be determined to return to the UK in all of his shady glory, according to one source. Now, Prince Harry will not allow Meghan to stand in his way. Indeed, he plans to move back to the land with his cable actress wife, where he was last booed. Now, here's the thing. When he spoke at Deal Book Summit, he said he loves living in LA. He loves his life in America. He wants to be there. He's saying that because that's the narrative. That's the narrative that everyone needs to hear now, so that he can look like and portray himself as someone who is living in all his glory. I'm going to tell you why that's not true. Now, Life and Style reports that the Down Prince is so worried about his father, King Charles, who is battling cancer, that he has finally seen the light. Now, according to the outlet, Harry, the Duke of Sussex, told Meghan Markle, the Duchess of excess. That's right, excess, because one of the last videos that I did talked about how he was really upset with all of her spending. And that makes sense as well. But that he was returning to his homeland with or without her. Now, how did Meghan take this alpha male display of power, might you ask? Exactly as you think she would. If the source is to be believed, which, by reasoning and looking at, that makes sense that you would be upset, I would believe this story. Now, Meghan was shocked with Harry's decision to take his life back. In the last few days, she has publicly clacked about reinventing herself and her brand. So apparently she does not see England as the base in which to become an A-lister. Does it make sense that Meghan is trying to rebrand herself independent of Harry? Does it make sense that Meghan would want to be an A-lister in California? Yes, it does. Now, the source maintains that Harry is adamant about helping out the family he has thrown under the bus. Now, we all remember when Harry did talk about being interested in coming back on a part-time basis to help his family. That was like about a year ago. That came out in the news. That was something, he even said it, I believe. He wants to help his family. He wants to help his father. We have to remember that the king is very ill right now. And this is a relationship that if he ends up not reconciling with his father, similar to what happened with his mother, how he was a kid, did not want to speak with her on the phone, and then she passed away, that haunts him till this day, that he did not come to the phone to speak to his mother. It makes sense that Harry would not want the same thing to happen with his father, to not reconcile with his father, to see his father before he passes away. And this just might be the last Christmas that he'll ever have to see his father. So it makes so much sense. Harry feels that Markle's fam must exit the U.S. because his own family needs all the help they can get, given Charles and Kate Middleton's health worries. Not to mention that Harry has always had a very good relationship with Catherine. They still write Kate in here, so don't come after me for calling her Kate, okay? But Catherine has been a very lovable person in Harry's life. Harry has always gotten along with Catherine, really loves her. So to have both of them ill right now is just making things a lot worse for him because he wants these relationships. We can tell by what he has not done since he slagged off his family. He is not going after them anymore. He's not trying to make money after slagging off his family anymore. It makes sense. The insider told the outlet that the couple had the biggest fight of their lives over the issue, with homesick Harry accusing Meghan of having no compassion. Really? Has he met her? Does he know who this woman is? It was okay when she didn't have compassion for her own father. Harry didn't think anything of it. But now, is he revisiting the idea about how Meghan has treated her own family? To think perhaps maybe Meghan doesn't care that Harry doesn't have a relationship with his father? Meghan doesn't with her own father. So she would have no sympathy for Harry not having a relationship with his father. She would not give two thoughts about that. When he told Meghan, she was beyond shocked. She can't believe he's even considering it, said the source about Meghan relocating back to the UK. And we all know this woman will never want to go back to the UK because she is so hated there. And I've heard a lot of you say here on my channel that there's no way people would even accept Harry back. So I think Harry thinks that he might be given a little bit more grace, but Meghan knows she will be given no grace. Ain't nobody giving Meghan any grace. If she comes back, she is not going to be well received. It's just not an option for her. The situation has been super stressful, says the source. Though he would never really leave Meghan and the kids behind, he did threaten he would go to England with or without her. And that makes sense too, to get her to kind of see another way. Either you come or you don't. Now tell me what you're going to do. And he's like, well, I'm just going to go without you, knowing that he probably doesn't want to go without her, considering she would have to come for the kids to come. And I believe Meghan will never let Harry go with the kids on his own. Now, some of you are saying there are no kids. I hear you. I hear you when you say there are no kids. But until it comes out and it is proven that there are no kids, I'm going on the fact of what I see. And I see kids. We saw the Christmas cards. We see kids. Now, maybe it's not their kids. Maybe it's somebody else. I don't know. But I see kids. So I hear you when you tell me that. I do. But let's just be reasonable, okay? Until it's official, we're going to assume they have these kids. He feels helpless living so far away from his family while his family is struggling with their health issues. He really basically feels he can't stand by and do nothing. He feels helpless, like he needs to do something. Which is rich coming from Harry, who has stood by and done nothing most of his overprivileged life. Did you know that he had only learned how to make his bed when he went into the military? That is when he first learned how to make his bed. That to me is astounding. That tells you so much about what he doesn't know about real life and what he didn't know about Meghan coming into this marriage. And now things have really hit the road really hard. And Angela Levin spoke on Dan Wooten's show a couple of days ago about how she had heard, she couldn't prove it, but she was told by one of her sources that Harry and Meghan had a big fight. And this is something that I believe would happen in this relationship because there's a lot of stress. We're coming off of the heels of the Polo show bombing. Netflix is not happy with Harry and Meghan right now. There are a lot of reports out about how Netflix is really exhausted. They are done with Harry and Meghan. And the amount of stress that Meghan has right now for her show to be successful is enormous. Now, here's the other thing. They are saying that Meghan only has done this show one episode. One episode of her show has only been shot, and they say it is really bad. It's not good. And it's like you are waiting for it to come out and bomb. You are waiting for people to see how horrible it is. Imagine the stress on your shoulders. If you're someone like Meghan, and then you have your husband arguing with you about going to the UK so your husband can see his father who is dying. The stress is palpable with this couple, and things are not going well. It makes so much sense that they are not doing well as a couple because of what we see. We don't see them together anymore. We don't see a couple aligned in purpose. And when this happens, when you are professionally failing, that seeps over into the marriage to fail. This is why you see so many shows that are reality shows with married couples, how they end up divorcing once the professional relationship has soured. I want you to think about any married couple you have seen on reality television and how professionally they're working in reality television. What tends to happen in these relationships when they are working together, they end up getting divorced. Go ahead. Think about a couple that you know in reality television. Are they still married? It makes so much sense. And this is about thinking critically. This is about thinking logically. And I would almost have to think how much stress and how much worry Harry has for repeating what happened with his mother, repeating again with his father. Think about the regret and the anguish and the way Harry will feel knowing that he did not reconcile his relationship with his father, knowing he could have, but he didn't. Think about what that would do to Harry and how that could get him to relapse into, well, maybe he's already relapsed. I don't know, but it would make you think, okay, yeah, you need to cope because you have caused something to happen that was in your control and you did nothing about it. And this is why I believe Harry is in a position now that, nothing is going his way. We know that he's going to have his court case in the UK. He's going to be on the stand for 4 days. The pressure of just even talking about what happened in these articles, these 30 articles that he is going to have to now defend on the witness stand in the UK is going to put him back in the UK regardless. But you're going to go back and not see your father. You're not going to go back and bring your children. Like, what are you going to do to reconcile this situation? We are upon the holidays now, and it makes so much sense that he would want his children to have this relationship in the last days of his father's life. And I believe this just very well could be the last time he can see his father during the holidays. And this is an important decision he's going to have to make. And the marriage is definitely souring because of Meghan's desire and her want to be an A-lister and not really care about her own husband's well-being. Because Meghan, we know, this girl don't care about Harry and his family relationship. But Harry does. He's had it his whole life. And now all of a sudden he's not supposed to care. I doubt it. We'll have to wait and see what happens with this relationship, because I can tell you right now, it's not going well for Prince Harry. Harry has got to make some important decisions, and I think the time is now. And what do you ask? What you gonna do, Harry? What are you going to do? That's what I want to know. We'll have to wait and see. All right, I hope you enjoyed this one. And I will see you in the next one. Toodles!